I've been piecing through the incompetency of the gotquestions.org too dumb to accept reality. Now, how'd you become so moral incompetent? Well, you followed a legend for 6,000 years. You followed the same legend that you'd never figure out what year it's going to be when we get rid of the Bible. You followed the same legend of you never figure out the Bible. Why not? James Usher tried. He didn't do a very good job. He counted back in the legend of a myth of a 6,000 years. He came up with October 23, 4004 BC. That was when. And then forward, why did you keep it? Why did you keep it? Why did you keep it? I'll try not to cuss at you too much this time. Why did you keep the Bible? Why did you keep the Bible? You became too incompetent to even read it and understand it. Why did you keep it? Why did you keep the 1611 Bible? 1611 Bible through to the year 2020 at 1023 4004. And then 4004, then 3760, and then 4,000. And which came first, the chicken or the egg? Well, they're all wrong. They're just how long are you going to let be wrong for? Be left, be left, be left, be left, be left in hell. Too wrong for the Bible. You can't figure it out as a medieval legend. That's why. You couldn't figure out you've had it since 1611 and you couldn't read it from then. That's a long time to not be able to figure out that you couldn't read a legend. And you kept reading it. You kept reading the legend of the Bible. You couldn't read it and say, isn't this God's book? God and Moses speaking face to face. Wouldn't that be like the absolute most Bible verse that you'd want to know about and get correct? Yeah, it's the one you'd want to get right. God and Moses speaking face to face. Shame on you, Israel. You got Auschwitz. God and Moses spoke face to face. Wow, Dachau, when was that open? God and Moses spoke face to face. Dachau closed. Oh, we found the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, so 16, we found the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1946. 1946. You also had 1856 to consider. Neanderthal 1. So you had from 1611 to 1946 to figure out what your 1856 fossil was. 2020 is a 40,000-year fossil. Okay, I see how that's looking. Okay, see, your Bible looks like this to me, except it goes in the year 1665. History of Shabbat Savai, 1665 to 1666. He marshaled up. Oh, I'd better read the Quran, and is what happened. So he was forced to convert to Islam. What do you think is going to happen next? Yeah, you ever hear of a jihad? You know how they work, right? You know how they work? Well, we get rid of your Bible to say I jihaded it. That's kind of cool. So, God and Moses spoke face to face. You got 9/11. 9/11, 2001. So, 99, you're there with a 40,000 year fossil. Way to go, NASA. 99. 2000. You're here with 1996 Kennewick Man. And then at the end, okay, Deuteronomy 34:10, and there arose not a prophet since in Israel whom the Lord knew face to face. Exodus 33:11, and the Lord spake unto Moses face to face as man speaketh unto his friend. We have a really dumb, immoral, incompetent cult over there who thinks God magically 6,000 years ago. Kennewick man in 96 of all eras. That's when you shouldn't have. Okay, so where's your debt now? Okay, you're $28 trillion in debt moving out of that 1996. You got nothing in your Bible after 1986. Ten years. Neanderthal 1. You had 10 years from 1986 to go. Oh, we should probably figure out what that 40,000 year fossil is. And if he's like, we're going to help you with the ages of the mountains, such as 500,000 year cone on the Mount Rainier or the 12 million year base of Mount Rainier. You never looked up. Why didn't you learn that? You're not a geologist. Why didn't you know that, NASA? Huh? They're all homosexual great apes now, is why. You went for the easiest, the lowest of the low. You've heard of those who broke the Sabbath, they shall be changed into detested apes. So your simple blink out of prophecy. We got a cult on the internet in the year 99 they can't turn off out in the year 2020 that I've been trying. Hey guys, the Earth's not 6,000 years, never has been. Your book's invalid. Now we're there. So thanks for a year and a half wasted. Your book's never been valid. Watching you, oh, you can't accept reality for a year and a half. How fucking immoral. How fucking stupid. How fucking dumb have you remained since 86? Well, you're dumb enough to go, whoa, I'm going to reject the age of the mountain, you fucking immoral retard. 1986 and how? 1986, you're just an ex nihilo nothing. There's nothing in your brains, but you were made from the White Cliffs of Dover fairy dust, you moron. Nothing in your brain, nothing up there. No, you got you the pterodactyl on the back of T-Rex swooped down and ate a cocoa. Woo, left you shit on the ground and got you. Oops. Oops. And now we have an immoral and incompetent cult on the internet. Oops. There's nothing in your book, but you shouldn't have had it. 1611 wasn't valid. 1611 went invalid when James Escher thought, hey, I've got legend to look at to make sure this book makes sense to me. Invalid legend in the 16th century. We're done. So I'm going to go back and forth and meander today and wonder why you're so mentally ill right now, refusing to accept reality. I wonder why that's the case. Cult organization, cult collapse. That's because you don't have that yet. I'm Ben David, cult organization, cult collapse. I'm Ben David. I distributed the Bible in the former USSR and it was invalid, as is all of the 1611 in English. Couldn't figure it out. It's a Latin and Greek legend, immoral incompetence. Now, not a joke. Not even joking. You're so immoral and incompetent. You can't understand the Bible itself. You're too dumb to even read it because you have a legend of Jesus. Fucking get off of the internet and collapse is what we're doing. I'm writing your retirement for the Bible, for your cult, for all of your churches, for all of you to sit your asses down and read the Bible with God in them and put it in it. That's what we need. That's what you should have been looking for. How do you make that book better? Well, you find God in it and make sure he's there. God and Moses spoke face to face. You find God in it, and then you do something with it. However, it came with a lot of a transitional change. Go to my website. Learn the earth is not 6,000 years of age by you, on your way there, looking up a mountain near you. You're done. You've obviously never looked anything up and accepted reality. Why do you keep fucking around with the book saying, hey, God magically pooped me 6,000 years? He gave you a false Messiah. So, he gave you a false Messiah. You couldn't read a book. These guys gave you a bad book. Jews got Auschwitz. Thanks, kid. Look at mine. Isn't this way because it rode in my car on the floor of the back passenger on the thing for, oh, I'm going to, you never take it out of my car and then make it look like this. No, it looks like this because I read it and I used it and I understood it. Yeah, kind of like, how do you get God and find him in the Jews fucking book? You go, where's God at? Isn't this God's book? Isn't this God's book? Doesn't he want something with this? This is kind of heavy. I wonder if this is correct. Is God and Moses circled in here? Jews, you gave us a bad book. Torah. JPS, you gave us a bad book. Give us a book Christians can't read. You gave us a medieval book. You left us with the medieval book. Jews, you got Auschwitz. Thanks. But don't get rid of your medieval book now. You got Auschwitz. And your Christians, medieval Messiah. Jews got Auschwitz. That's pretty much, oh, let's read from Job while we're doing that. I like the book of Job. It's a funny. The book of Job is the best Kabbalistic with the, oh, you fucked up with the Kabbalah, you have the Quell theory book you could ever read. So what do you do? So that moron who thinks God magically poof him, go over there and said, I've never seen Satan, meaning the mythical boogeyman that tempted Eve talking to her. And he goes, oh, Satan's right here. He grabs his book. Right here. Look, Job. Right there. It's in print. Thanks, Jews. Satan, way to fucking go. Give him a bad book without God circled, saying there's nothing in this book, but fuck you guys over for not being able to read it. Nothing. You have fun with all the prophecies, but it's a waste of time. Job, you don't know how to read the book itself. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and his man was perfect and upright, and the one that feared God and eschewed evil. Now, there's enough evidence. Not only is this the legend, it's a rhetorical, legitimate legend. This is a real man, similar to quite a few. Yeah, you got pretty much, was Jesus for real or not? Yeah, he was for real. We're not arguing Yeshua the Messiah ben Yosef was a real man. You had a hard time with the English language, and you kept him as a false man, though. A false Messiah. And there was a man in the land, and there was born to him 7 sons and 3 daughters. So you have 7 sons that didn't grow up from great apes that weren't magically poof 6,000 years ago either. His sustenance was of 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels. So divide that 7,000, try 700 and 7,000, 7,000 and 3,000, 700 and 300. I'll give them that many because they just never did 7,000. Yeah, let's go on a caterpillar and use it to raise wheat. Because you're putting you're utilizing every space of ground to grow food out of, and you're doing it with big tractors that you can get up 45-degree hills and only slide a little bit every once in a while and never tip it over, and they do it. And we fly airplanes over it, and we look down on it and go, wow, how many stupid idiots down there are now, and how many people think God magically poofed down there. We have a lot of people to correct. No one knows Kennewick Man 9,200-year-old fossil remain is the exact same as the Australian Aboriginal people. Why is that? Cult organization. No one seemed to understand that hyoid is a real thing. You speak, right? Do you have fingers? Continue. So that's the most entertaining point. The theory of evolution from 1859 through the year 2020 is only a theory, cult organization. Just because it's a theory does not mean it's something that made you correct, saying it's not correct. Just because you don't want to figure out how to read words doesn't mean that the theory is incorrect. However, it does mean they posited the wrong everything all the way along. We have to make everything new for science even. You're so, hey, get rid of the Bible in order to make everything new for science. Hey, NASA, we got a cult to turn off. Lots of them, 7.7 billion of you. Just collapse. So I was talking to Martin Luther. He's sufficient. His catechism is all you need. All you need is Martin Luther's catechism. And not taking God out of the Bible ever again and not using it ever again. It's too hard of a parable for you. Cult organization couldn't figure it out. It was an invalid parable. It got written down and you couldn't figure it out at that. Okay, I've already done all of the research. The Earth's not 6,000 years of age. We got plenty to look at. So I'm sending you off. 9,200-year-old fossil remain Australian Aboriginal. Find a mountain near you. I'm going to go pick up and then compare that mountain to Mount Rainier. 500,000 year base or cone, 12 million year base. Well, how does that work scientifically if neither of those are 6,000 and it doesn't explain the geology of the road cuts either way about it? The 6,000 year Earth doesn't explain any form of anything other than you're pretty fucking blind and willing to accept anything. And science, you have your road cutouts. Look at the sedimentary layers. So spend 7 to 10 minutes looking at the sedimentary layers you accrue along the Columbia River, and you see the dams. You can see all of the pictures from the 1850s. If there are any, you can learn a little bit before we dammed it up. But by your $28 trillion in debt, you don't even need to go there to look at a picture of the sedimentary layer of right there. You're looking at a basalt flow all the way. Look at Columbia River basalt. Columbia River salt. Map. I'll do map. Okay. You're looking here. Columbia River basalt map. I'm going to send you out to look at this. The Columbia River there on the right hand side, where you see the plinking of, look at the Pangea separating, and you got a little diamide up there it used to touch to the land, and that spread out that 50 miles across. And so you're seeing, while little diamide was pulling out for that 50 miles across, you're seeing the same fissuring. So it was not yet inletted with water in the way that this is right there. Will it ever change? Yeah, so what happened, when was the basalt flows? How old are the Columbia River basalts? So let's look at this. 6 million years. They got it a little bit weird. It's not 6,000. It's not 6 million either. Let's look at this. The geology, age, and extent of the Columbia River basalts. The Columbia River basalts were deposited between 7.5 and 6 million years. So, and cover an area of approximately a really large area. So what happened is, where did these come up? We had flooding from Montana. So Montana flooding, Montana flood. When were they? 15,000 and 13,000 years ago. So here you're looking at with 15,000 to 13,000 years ago. Yes, that's real data. The hypothesis that the basalt is 15 or 6,000 years is both false. We'd have right there what we had: 1 hour day Earth, 2 hour day Earth, 3 hour day Earth, 4 hour day Earth. As the Earth is swelling up, cult organization. I'm spending Sunday to explain this to you, I suppose. I try not to flip you off too much for being so moral. The 1 hour day Earth, 2 hour day Earth, the Columbia River, it was no water yet. And then the width of the Columbia River in some places is pretty narrow, and other places is pretty wide. Why is that? Well, as the Earth was expanding out and the Grand Canyon was pulling up and the Alps were forming down on the opposite side, the Earth is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Got questions, not cult. And so here, the Columbia River, when did it get water into it? How did it become? How did you get water, 6 million year water, as your channeling of the Grand Canyon? No, right there at the Grand Canyon, looking at the Alps, you're looking at the same. And right at the basalt, you're looking at the Alps, looking at the same. And 1 hour day Earth, 2 hour day Earth. However, 1 hour day Earth, Grand Canyon, Alps, 2 hour day Earth, Grand Canyon, Alps, 3 hour day Earth, Grand Canyon, Alps, 4 hour day Earth, Grand Canyon, Alps, 5 hour day Earth, Grand Canyon, Alps. The nothing eroded that provided any of that. Down the Columbia River. 1 hour day Earth, 2 hour day Earth, 3 hour day Earth swelling up. It's not until this range where there's enough evidence of, okay, 15,000 years ago, we had let's provide all of the sedimentary deposits that was the entire Columbia Basin. That's an amazingly fertile, rich area, lots of fruit, lots of really good land. Really good land if you know how to till it and use it. And dry land works with water and not. And there's some areas that are really wet, and it depends, and that's just the way it is. And 1 hour day Earth, 2 hour. So during the time Grand Canyon is spreading out, we have to make sense of all of this. The Alps are forming the exact same way that the Grand Canyon is splitting open, and the Grand Canyon rock quarry, let's call it that. The Grand Canyon rock quarry, it's never changed. I gave it 100 feet of erosion from itself blowing itself off. That's what I'd give it. It used to be 100 feet higher. Way back when. Way back when, we'll never know. And so it's just pulling out from Genesis 1:9, God and Moses speaking face to face, pulling out from Genesis 1:9, God and Moses speaking face to face. Go find a fossil record that told you so. Then look at as you're driving through the cutouts. Hey, right there, we know that's old. Hey, right there, we know that's old. You'll never make sense of it, cult organization. The earth is too complicated to understand as anything but a living entity. The earth is currently growing. It's never going to go through what it did, 20 billion years ago, 100 billion years ago, however long they want it to be. I don't care. I'm not working with that. I'm using 1 hour day Earth, 2 hour day Earth. How long did it take for 18 miles across and 1 mile deep to happen? That's what I'm working with in order to explain the Alps at the same time as the Grand Canyon forming. While the White Cliffs of Dover, all of those coccoliths are like pterodactyl on the back of T-Rex is swooping down and eating them. Yeah, that type. Why are we not finding no pterodactyl on the backs of T-Rexes right now? Well, we found their fossil remain of a flea. They didn't have bug repellent back then. Too hot, and so everything just kind of. Also, why would there be a dino? We found saber-toothed tiger. That's 40,000 years, no question. That we found saber-toothed tiger nearby. So you're working in all geology and 2020 understanding of any form of geology cult organization. I'll give you that. All 2020 understanding science. Way to go, NASA. You made it to the moon. I'm still kind of surprised you did that on a powered kite. Way to go, guys. You made it to the moon on a powered kite as a great ape. You're a homosexual great ape. Now, we got to turn the Bible off to say, hey, guys, you just have that. You have everything you cut out. You have the dams you built and the tunnels you went through. You don't need to go in. You don't need to see it. You just have to accept reality as how gravity works and how long is it going to take us to figure out the next time that volcano over there is going to explode, or is it? The volcanic islands down there at Hawaii, those are not from the Pangea separation. Those are different. Those are not from the Pangea separation. They're from the plate tectonics pushing down and then pushing back up, is what that area, those islands, and a lot of little volcanic islands. It's all volcanic. How long did it take to erode down from the rocky terrain of it being the Columbia River basalt you can still see and put together like a map and go, oh, that took a long ass time. And how long did that take? Well, it's more than we're gonna have anymore. I don't know. I don't really care, to be honest. We still have magic proofing volcanoes. 1856. When was the last? With I think really all your data geologically is from the 1800s. 1800, you wrote something right on, and you wrote a map, thanks, and you dug a tunnel, thanks, got a dam somewhere, right on. I got a fossil remain of a flea to explain to Nell at Life Science that he didn't grow up from a grade ape with. Way to go, NASA. Way to fucking go, Nell. A way to keep track of your fossil record as you accrue $28 trillion in debt for cult organization to not figure it out at, and not tell them, by the way, this is an old flea and it's for real. How do you prove it's for real? 1 hour a day or 2 hour a day. Oh, the Grand Canyon's pretty fucking deep. And Nell at Life Science got questions at .org, went through all of their material to read it. And what did he write? What did Nell at Life Science write? What did Nell, little buddy, you got a little problem there. You have a typing problem. Mental ill typing problem. Now you're typing a legend. Way to go. So now I'll spend some time while I drink my beer and giggle through Nell's fossil remain of a flea. That's an obvious. Nell, way to go, Nell. You broke the fossil record. You don't have, because you can't use it for what it is. I can't use the fossil record for what it is. I can't even figure out that I didn't evolve. So that amazingly strong hind leg on that flea had to evolve sometime. Still not pinpointed it in the dirt that it was never there. A flea evolved. Well, rather than saying God made this flea, got questions.com. God made this flea and it fed off of a dinosaur. And now you're dealing with, well, are dinosaurs for real? Really? Whoa. We want to have fucking fossils out of them, you morons. Are dinosaurs for real, or are they? No, thanks. You fucked up the fossil record. Dinosaurs are, hey, thanks, Nell. You fucked up the fossil record. I'm still amazed you made it to the moon now. So how'd you do that while you're since 1946 not thinking about Neanderthal 1? Hey, isn't that your 40,000 year fossil of 1856 telling you off in 1859? NASA, go close in 1976. Backwards theory. Yeah, is what it was telling you now. So go back and keep track of James Usher in the book I got right there on the origin of the hallucinations that you can't solve a theory, and on the origin of the hallucinations that the 6,000 years of age is really how it is. On the origin of the hallucinations that the earth is 6,000 years of age, and on the origin of the hallucinations that you can't turn off a theory. On the origin, you can't use God's book to turn off a theory. Not using God's book to turn off a theory meant you got to get rid of God's book and his church organization, is what it actually meant, guys. It's, you go back in and look at what you're preaching wrong. Oh, you're preaching a sermon. Done. Done. Dedicated to Maxwell Dioge. Set to collect wisely, 1859, Malkut. So, 1859, yeah, Malkut. That's a bow set to collect wisely. Think about it. By means of natural selection. Well, this guy grew up from a great ape, according to this picture. The thing up behind him that's for real, a gecko, I think. Except it looks like how you wanted the gecko to look like. Oh, I'm going to be a hag reading from a reading board. I got questions.cult and not solve a theory. When the first edition on the origin of the species was published on November 24th, 1859. That's probably something happened after that. That we'll look up later. I got to fly up there, just flying around. I wonder how that happened. I went down and I was talking to my spider downstairs. Spiders have sentient consciousness, which because God made them. And Nell, it sucked his brains out in the process. He probably ate a flea. Revised edition in 1860 and not solved. Hey, we found something old like a mountain. 1861, 1866. Hey, we have these white cliffs of Dover right there. You could sniff out again. 1869. It's an invalid theory. The text of the present volume incorporated new passages in response to numerous criticism. You guys are so fucking dense dumb. Science, you are so dense dumb. Christians, you are so dense dumb. You're both equally invalid. You're both equally dumb. NASA. Equally dumb. I'm no smarter. We're all human. Equally dumb though, with your can't figure out, 6,000 didn't happen, and 1859 you're left with the theory that, didn't happen either. Because the volcano happened 500,000 years ago and they got in here. How? 500,000 year got in what? Not looking at geology, not understanding it. Got questions.org. So we had to go into print. When On the Origin of the Species was published in 1859, the worlds of thought and religion were jolted to their very foundations. And that's the problem you all have. You all have it. You're too dumb to not be jolted. What do you mean you're wrong? Oh, I'm just wrong. Yeah, you're just fucking dumb. Wrong. Get over it. By the theory of evolution which it proposed. Up to then, practically everyone accepted the biblical chronology. Acceptance of the biblical chronology published by James Ussher in the, when does it say? 17th century, 1600s, is not no. That's not how it worked. I accept the James Ussher chronology 100%, and I compare it to 9,200-year-old fossil remain every time I hop on here and say, hey, we got a call right over there. So I accept this theory pretty well. This is an easy 1859 that took me since when 10/29/2016 to solve as, hey, here's my dog. His name was Maxwell. First, then you got a Bible. Good for you. In 1846, the veteran geologist published an excellent thought, though short paper. Give it up. Look at the hill. Use the internet now. We have too much data. There's actually too much data to have any of it correct right now. It all just needs to be made new, guys. All of it needs to be made new. All of it needs to be made new. By Bible, by cult. Thanks, NASA. It's been that way since 1846. Thanks, NASA. Still amazed you got to the moon on a powered kite. So I'll underline that. The veteran geologist. So he published, that's the thought-provoking. Whoa, I found something old and I found a way to make it older. He did not even have electricity until 20 years after this theory was published, let alone anything comparable to anything you got. So in His opinion is so we're working with an opinion in this one. His opinion, which is your guys' all of the okay, why are dinosaurs so real? Well, you have fossil remains are real, and you have fossil remain of Kennewick Man that figured out through Australia. And Aboriginal Australia is a real country. America is not, though it is more probable that new species have been produced by descent with modification than that they had been separately created, can be have been separately created. So let me have been. I'll work for that statement for 20 minutes. Have been separately created. Candidate E. Candidate E. Work with it. So candidate E, that is descent with modification. We have the Yorkshire Terrier, we have the West Island White Terrier, and we have the cat. So descent with modification. So what was the common ancestor of the Canada E? That my Yorkie howled like a wolf, and we know that they have some characteristics and sheer commonality. We know that God made them. And virtue is really the good way to say. From 1849, you couldn't say Canada E is not a cat, and that the wolf is not trainable like a dog. You can't train it sign language because it is not, and it's never going to become that. Science. It's the wolf will never become a dog. 500,000 years from now, if this place is still here, a wolf will never become a dog. It will always remain as wolf. Will weird little things appear like we see all the time? Yes. Because why? They're mating and doing it on their own without any domestication, without our help, without human help. So you got Canada E to fiddle with. And by the way, there is absolutely no reason to say Canada E Terrier is a descent with modification to Canada E with those stupid little yapping, stupid little fucking. I hate those dogs. The Chihuahua. There is absolutely no reason to pick your brain and say, Canada E, why do we not have the equivalency of the West Island White Terrier in the range of the stupid little barking Chihuahuas? Why would you not accept they're independently different, far enough apart by their look at their heads. Some dogs have a dimple right here that's pretty pronounced, and others don't. Try this. God made a dog for Yakima Indian Nation. Kennewick Man's 9,200-year-old fossil remain made him a dog over there when Lilith was flying around with Adam, and God was like, I'm going to come down. You guys want a dog? Here you go. And so he did the same down there with, now you have Aztec and Mayan people. Well, where'd you get the albino into that? Well, you got that from the Book of Mormon and into your Mesoamerica. That's where that came from. So God came down there. You guys want a dog? It'll be a little bit different than what. So he kept reusing. He kept showing up. Thanks for the dog. That's the type of shit he would do. Thanks for the dog. You guys are never going to figure out this. They're too complicated for you. They're genetically just slightly slightly the exact same, so you're not going to figure out how God made it with short hair and long hair, and now unless you especially breed it in, you're not going to you'll never have a long-haired Chihuahua just accidentally appear in any sentient way that we can keep track of. How long would it take for a, a long-haired dog to grow long hair or short hair, or which came first, the chicken or the egg, the long haired dog or the short haired dog? No, they were both independently creative and they can mate together, and so you get all the weird breeds. And so you have some, such as Chihuahua, with no interbreeding, it's just independent, its own. And you have the other dogs, independent their own, interbred with another independent their own, and you have long hair from that, not from the woolly mammoth, but which is a for real. And your picture of the woolly mammoth is God fucking you over it. And look at the Grand Canyon again to figure out science is invalid after the year 1856. Science being invalid after the year 1856. Science with the theory of the observation you call science. The greatest. This is just a theory, and you're $28 trillion in debt, and you grew up with great apes. Gotquestions.org. There's nothing in your book but that. There's no. Jesus even told you not to turn yourself into apes. He did. He did. Don't turn yourself into animals. Don't magically grow up from great apes. Got questions. Don't do that. So, you've heard of those who broke the Sabbath on Friday, they got fucked. You heard of those who broke the Sabbath, the Jews, they got really screwed. Thanks, Sarkis Rasmus. You've heard of those who broke the Sabbath, the Christians on Sunday, they got really, really, really too dumb. Then what happened? So the archetype, so they didn't go back in and validate, okay, there's something here. So he wrote diverse such modifications long prior to the existence of those animal species. So we're organic phenomenon which may have been committed. So we have rises in birth defects. Washington State doctors concerned that's an organic phenomenon with 9,200-year-old fossil remain easy to bleak out to explain Australia has been there a longest time. So long, 200,000 years I'll give you on that. And I'm giving Australia, they used to have scales from the time of the Cambrian explosion. Yeah, oh wow, boom, and okay, I'm going to go down there. Plants down there, so they do something with the kangaroo, the marsupial, and figure it out. Yeah. So Lilith was flying around back then, and Adam was flying around back then. Adam was flying around. These phenomena make confidence in the conclusion that the apteryx of New Zealand and the red grouse of England were distinct creations for the islands respectively. So you see the problem with the 6,000-year Earth. Oh, I can't figure out how the islands came together. How did Canada say end up paddle across the ocean? Was it there 1 hour day or 2 hour day? Well, various places. And yes and no. Yes and no. God came in and out, in and out, in and out. He talked to Moses face to face. He made him, and things like that. He came in. He's currently passed out on heroin right now because you pray that God is currently passed out on heroin because you don't. You think God magically proved. So there's not. Dr. Martin Luther's Small Catechism should have read. We were reading from it this morning. The 10 Commandments. That's all you needed. God and Moses spoke face to face. He wrote this down for you. You shall have no other gods before me. God and Moses spoke face to face. You should fear, love, and trust in God above all things. How do you apply that if you think God magically pooped and you can't take care of the earth? You don't. The second commandment, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Now, there's a tough one. He's currently passed out on heroin right now because you pray. Connected to that King James Version of the Bible that's right there. I'm trying to unconnect him from his heroin stash. I want all of his heroin. I'm taking God's heroin and then collapsing with it. When I'm done, I'm going to retire and get really high. We should fear and love God, that we may not curse, swear, use witchcraft, lie, or deceive by his name, such as like, oh, I can't turn off because I'm in a moral incompetent cult. But call upon his name in the time of need, such as God and Moses spoke face to face. Yodevave, Yehovah, Adonai, Elohim, you get nothing else. Praise and thanksgiving. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So remember, let's not forget about it. You've heard of those who broke it, however, they did not keep it holy. They followed an 1859 legend that can be turned off with the 1976 if you tried, but you already did. You guys already solved this theory. You're just $28 trillion in debt now. You've already figured this out. You're just homosexuals. You've already figured this out. Stop teaching it. And that's that. You've already solved the theory of evolution when you plowed through and made a road. You already solved the theory of evolution when you boarded an airplane. You've already solved this theory when you just start your car. You've solved this theory by locking your door. You have solved this theory by typing an email. You have solved this theory of evolution. You just don't have an endpoint for it, which is get rid of the Bible because of it. We should fear and love God, that we may not despise preaching and his word. Stop your preaching because you despise his teaching from his word because of your false preaching, but deem it holy and gladly hear it and learn it. So sitting there telling, well, oh, I think this is what that meant, and refusing correction and being, fucking dipshit, fucking immoral retards, fucking stupid immoral fucking idiots, never fuck you stupid fucking idiots. Fuck you, immoral retard! Fuck you, immoral retard! Honor thy father and thy mother, that it may be well with thee, and then they might actually live on the earth, you fucking immoral retard. Get rid of your fucking immoral book, you idiot! You're too dumb to read it! Stop preaching, idiots! Collapse as a cult, you moron! Thanks.